I have stated before that the most important lesson that a martial artist will ever learn is usually taught during the first lesson. And this being lesson 1, I have spent a great deal of time writing and rewriting the lesson plan in order to make certain that I teach it correctly. So let's begin. Stand. Relax. Clear the mind. There you go. That's about all there is to it. Very good. More practice. Do you have any questions? This posture is referred to alternately as Wuji, or preparation posture. Now, Tai Chi is a martial art, so one might assume that what we are preparing for is a fight. But a martial art is about far more than just fighting, so we can presume that it is about preparing for anything that might happen. Let's call it expect nothing, be prepared for anything. I like to call it start by winning, which is my preferred strategy for martial arts. Now, I could spend hours or days or weeks or months examining all the details about this posture. I could try to teach you how to make yourself do this exercise correctly. But that, I have found, is a bit of a trap. I would end up stressing you out. There is no need to go all Confucian drill sergeant on you. After all, it is a natural art, not a Confucian art. Thank the great continuum. And I am a Canadian, and we don't have drill sergeants here. There have been times that I have been tempted to get into a student's face and just yell, "What part of relax don't you understand, you punctilious chest breather?" But that would not be helpful. There are many so-called rules about standing naturally. But I find that they are really just notes about what students will discover for themselves if they practice this for a while. These are also just things that the teacher will point out to you, usually at exactly the moment when you are about to discover it for yourself. As you get better at relaxing, you will learn to resolve acute and chronic tensions that cause misalignments in the body and mind. An acute tension or misalignment is the sort of thing that you can fix immediately. Is my neck tense? Well, yes, so I can relax it and fix the alignment. Are my shoulders tense? Well, yes, so relax them. Is the rib cage tense? Well, then relax it. Is tension in the back and the hips and the waist restricting my movement and breathing? Well, if so, then fix the alignment, level the pelvis and relax the waist. Is there torque in the hips and the knees and the ankles? Well, then turn the feet parallel, engage the arches, relax the hips, the knees, the ankles, and allow gravity to flow effortlessly through you. Balance like a string of pearls on end. Is the mind full of random thoughts or fixated on a particular thing? Well, then let those thoughts go. Let go of the obsession. Chronic tensions may take several minutes or days or months to fix. They might be caused by injuries or habits or defects. Fixing them can involve physical and mental exercises that repair the muscular and skeletal imbalance in the body and liberate you from long-established thought patterns and emotional conditioning. The teacher's job is not to strictly conduct the reshaping of your body and mind. It is to guide you in your own discovery and liberation. The teacher notices that you are about to have an epiphany, and they don't want you to miss it. They might say, you have noticed the tension in your neck. Some people might get that from playing Sudoku a lot. Is the tension just in your neck, or does it affect your back? Does it affect your hips, your feet? Does it affect your emotional state? Now, what happens when you do this, or this, or this? What exercises do you think will fix the misalignment? Now, I do this exercise. Maybe that will work for you. Now, I find that the best teachers historically are those who don't teach the style or the art. They teach the student. That means following the student's progress, not dragging them along by the nose or chasing them with a whip. A teacher acts as an experienced guide or interpreter until the student learns ways to interpret these things for themselves. This means the teacher must give each student a lot more responsibility by applying a lot less pressure. I could stand by and say, okay, head up, chin down, relax the neck, level the jaw, relax the scalp, relax the eyes. Sink the shoulders, let the ribs hang from the spine like a shirt hanging from a coat hook. Level the pelvis, relax the waist, relax the psoas muscles more than the iliacus. Center your proprioception on the inferior mesenteric ganglion. Have your feet parallel. Engage the arches. Reduce the torque in the ankles, the knees, and the hips. Emphasize the centripetal engagement. Strengthen the tensile modulus while eliminating the shear modulus. Feel the breath expand the belly in all directions. Breathe with the whole body, first in 6 stages, then 12 stages, then 83 stages, then 108 stages. Feel the interaction and combining of yin and yang. Complete the 14-vessel circulation. Feel the balance and interaction of essence, strength, energy, spirit, the void. Shatter the void. Sever the distinction between before and after. Eliminate any attachment to past, present, or future. Differentiate between full and empty. Harmonize the afferent and the efferent. Do all of these things and more, and, don't think about anything. Clear the mind. Get ready to fight. At this stage, the student might find themselves feeling somewhat whelmed, perhaps overly so. This is too much, they might say, and give up. Or they might say, sorry, what was that first thing? Head on top? It is said that Tai Chi can be very easy to do, but very difficult to correct. In fact, I think it can be very easy to correct if the teacher respects the student and the student has enough faith in themselves. In fact, you might achieve enlightenment on your first day, but that is entirely up to you. People talk a lot these days about mindfulness, but that is not what we are looking for here. Having a full mind is a dangerous thing in any stressful situation, not only in combat. We want to have an empty mind. Now, some might say we want to have a still mind, but absolute stillness needs an absolute frame of reference. That means that the mind cannot abide in a single place. As the Zen monk said to Euclid, I don't see the point. Now, often we teach beginners how to calm the mind by having them focus on a single thing, like a point on the wall, or a picture, or a waterfall, or a river, or their own breath, or the sound of their own voice, a mantra perhaps, or a prayer. But it is important to understand that this is a stage. It's designed to help and prepare you for learning how to not think about anything. Focusing on a single point does not in itself clear your mind, but it does help you to become aware of the movement of your mind relative to some arbitrary frame of reference. I might focus on my breath so that I can become aware of how my mind wanders away from my breath. Each time I notice that I am not thinking about my breath, I can become aware of the fact that my mind has moved, so I bring it back to my breath. In the beginning, my mind might wander through the trees for days with a pack of monkeys before I remember that I'm supposed to be focusing on my breathing. With practice, the mind only wanders a few feet away, or a few centimeters, or a hair's width before it comes back to my breath. Eventually, I become so aware of the movement of my mind that focusing on the breath doesn't work anymore. The breath is too chaotic. It moves more than my thought does. So I need to refine my frame of reference. Eventually, I may see my mind itself as the frame of reference, not as a single point, but as an undifferentiated non-thing. A single point can be a dimension unto itself, and one dimension is more than is encompassed by my frame of reference. Okay, ignore that sentence. That's not helpful at all. There must come a stage in my development when I am ready to engage the universe and anything that might happen to me without any kind of attachment to anything either within myself or within my environment. The famous 16th century Zen master, Takuan, you might know him as Mr. Pickle, reminded the samurai not to focus the mind. If you focus on anything, if you focus on your sword, or the enemy's sword, or the rhythm, or the position, or the speed, then you will be cut down. Placing your mind within yourself, well, that's for beginners. Your mind can be abducted by your opponent's movements, by their thoughts, their strength, their weaknesses, or their sword. Your mind can be abducted by your own sword, by your own actions, your own intent, your own rhythm. Your mind can be tempted to park itself on any one of these things, and you will become an empty shell and easily cut down. We talk about the goal of standing to learn how to become empty. And this emptiness means to be non-dimensional. In physics, mathematics, a single point is considered to have 0 dimensions. But it is as if 0 is too big a number for our purposes. We want a number that is not as big as 0, but not a negative number. We want something that is not so easily defined as 0. Now, I know humans have only recently come to terms with using 0 as a number, and now I'm laying this on you, but if mathematics can handle dealing with the square root of -1, then martial artists can deal with this. What I am trying to say is that you can even get attached to nothing. So trying to focus on nothing will not clear your mind. I have had the good fortune to teach and work with religious scholars and clergy from a number of different religions, A Franciscan priest I worked with once told me that he did not think that most Christians knew how to pray correctly. He said, they pretend to talk to God, but they have created an idea of God in their own imaginations. But if they are defining God in their own minds and then talking to that imaginary being, they are really only talking to themselves. They are not truly surrendering to the great mystery of the divine. Now, he was a Tai Chi player and a martial artist, and having spent years in contemplation, he had a fairly good understanding of the workings of the mind. He said, focusing my mind on only one thing does not make my mind clear any more than believing in only one God would make me an atheist, or any more than being monogamous would make me celibate. If you clear your mind of thoughts, then your mind is clear. But if you clear your mind of all thoughts except for one thought, then your mind is full of that one thing. You are obsessing, and that is a bad move for any martial artist. If I focus on my breathing, I might find myself regulating my breath, or even controlling my breathing. I will end up breathing in a particular way for that particular situation. That's okay if the goal is to practice becoming aware of all of the different ways that my breathing can change in different situations. And there is a different way to breathe for every situation in your life. But if I only learn or trust one type of breathing, then perhaps I will someday need to run or dodge or block or contemplate something different, or worry, or be angry, or be sad. If I am attached to a particular type of breathing, then what happens to my mind when my world gets turned upside down? Regulating the breath is good within a particular context. Understanding the breath and learning how to move and to change with different types of breathing, this is a life skill. If I can simply allow myself to be aware of everything that is happening by not being distracted or obsessed by a single aspect, then perhaps I will be able to see the whole picture and to learn to adapt instantaneously to the changes that happen to my own thoughts, emotions, posture, and environment. And perhaps I will be able to respond appropriately and in a timely fashion to the knife or the sword that is being swung at my head. Perhaps I will then be able to bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contempt, the pangs of unrequited love. I could sure go for a nice requite now and then. The insolence of office, the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when I could my own quietus make by simply standing, relaxing, and clearing my mind.
Congratulations on making it to the end of one of my videos. If you would like me to make more of these videos, please visit sinclairinternal.arts.com, where you can make a one-time donation or become a regular member, or book a private online lesson. If you would like me to make fewer of these videos, well, that is going to cost you.